Hello and welcome to another trades training video. I'm Joe Carswell, and this lesson covers a really important set of power tools we use. That's cordless drills and drivers. Let's get right to it. We use these power tools for a couple of reasons. One is for drilling or boring holes, and the other is for driving or removing fasteners. These tools are super duty. You can use them all day for those jobs, and the fact that they're cordless makes this job go even better. So let's take a look at some parts of a typical cordless drill. First thing, we have a battery pack. This plugs into the drill. It also plugs into the charger. Typically, you'll have a couple of batteries. One's on backup being charged all the time. The other one goes in the drill, so you have continuous use of this tool. Second, you're going to have a pistol grip. This should be a comfortable grip that allows you to keep this tool under control. Very near to the pistol grip, you have your variable speed trigger. This trigger works with more pressure on it. You have a faster speed of the drill. With less pressure, it's a slower speed. More control at this trigger gives you better work that's done with the drill. Most cordless drills have two speed settings, low speed and high speed. Number one is your low speed. Number two is your high speed. Next up, we have the clutch on this drill. This ring right here can be set at different settings. The high settings are for high torque and the low settings are for low torque. Basically what this does is allows the motor to disengage from the drill bit at a specific torque or force. And we'll get into that when we use the drill later. The keyless chuck is where we put all of our drill bits and driver bits into this drill. It holds them very tightly and it will keep them in place while we drive fasteners, drill holes. Basically, a chuck has it's a small vise with fingers on it. And if we turn the chuck this direction, it makes those jaws come closer together. If we turn the chuck this direction, it opens them wider. So these need to be set at the distance that will clamp on whatever drill bit or driver bit that we have. Also, there's a lock setting on this chuck as well. All drills have the ability to be switched into reverse direction or forward direction. There's a convenient switch located right here at the handle. With your thumb, you can push this button and it sets the drill in reverse. If you push this button here, it sets the drill in a forward direction. If you get confused, look at the arrows. This arrow points to the back. This arrow points to the front, which means forward. You might have noticed this other tool here. This is an impact driver, very similar to our cordless drill. The features, the difference is this is used for fasteners, removing and driving fasteners only, not good for boring holes. Very compact, and this will make productive work of that driving fasteners. This one doesn't have any speed control on the motor, and it also has a little different connection to the driver bit here. I call this a collet. It's a quick collet. Literally, that is how you install a driver, and this is how you remove it. Very quick, even faster than your keyless chuck. A quick thing about cordless drills is the charging pack. We have to charge these batteries constantly. The drill typically comes with its own charger, and every sequence of charging is different for each manufacturer. You'll learn this quickly with your drills, and the battery snaps into the charger very similarly to how it snaps into the drill. It's going to slide in, and it should snap in. When this is plugged in, you need to look for some indication that it is charging and that the cord is plugged into an electrical source. What you don't want is to come back an hour later and find that you still have a dead battery. Job is on halt until you get that fixed. So always have a battery charging and make sure it's charging properly. If there is some problem with the charging, the power, or the battery itself, it will show up in blinking codes on this charger. So make sure you study that and know your particular charger and if you have a problem. Let's drill a hole, and the setup for that is taking a drill bit and putting it in the chuck. Make sure this chuck is open large enough to accept whatever size drill bit you have to use. I'm going to push that drill bit all the way to the back of the chuck, bottom it out, and then tighten these jaws up until they grab tightly on that drill bit. When I go a little further, it's going to click loudly. That's the first setup for my lock for this chuck. Then it will go 3 clicks more, and that is completely locked. Whether this drill is in forward or reverse, that bit should not come out of this drill. Not all drills have exactly that sequence, but most of them have a chuck lock on these keyless chucks, so look for that feature. Next, we need to make all the settings on the drill work for boring a hole. So we have our speed setting on the top. Set that to high speed if you're drilling wood and similar materials. That's very important. A low speed of 1 will not turn that bit fast enough. It won't bite into the material and the hole will be rougher. So we'll set it to high speed. We also have a clutch setting here that we need to set on this drill bit symbol. That's really important because what that does is it does not allow any slippage in our clutch. The last thing we need to do is to set our forward direction on our drill, which is pushing this button here. Now we're ready to go and drill a hole. Now that our tool's set up, it's time to set up our materials. I want to bore a hole through this, basically a header. It's 2x6 stacked with OSB in the middle of it. It's about 3.5 inches deep, and we need to make sure that our drill bit is long enough to travel through all those materials, clear through to the other side. If you hold it up there, I am coming all the way through and a little bit more, so we don't have a lot of room to work with, but it should work fine. Next thing, we need to know exactly where we want to drill this hole. And I'm going to mark an X where I want that hole to be. This is my target. I want to hit the center of that X. Next, we need to bring our drill in, and it needs to be set on that point. So the 2 safety things that we need to go through before we start drilling is number 1, safety glasses, and where does our supporting hand go? You don't want your hand anywhere near this drill bit while you're drilling. That's only asking for an accident. This bit can slip, and if you put it through your finger, which I've done, it's very painful. So this hand is far enough away to be safe. We want to turn that trigger or pull that trigger just slightly to get started so that the bit will start to bite. That will help it or keep it from wandering. If you start off at full speed with your trigger, you might not, that bit might not stay exactly where you placed it. So I've got it on the X. We'll go ahead and turn or pull the trigger just a little bit. And what we've done is created a nice divot there that will sort of hold or steer that bit straight down, no more wandering. At this point, we need to think about the axis of the drill. Super important point to make here. If you draw a line through this drill, down through the bit, we want to make sure that it is perpendicular in all directions. And perpendicular would not be here, it would not be here, it would be here, front to back, side to side, all the way around. So you have to get really good at figuring out where that straight up and down position is so that you can drill straight through. You can't change the direction of this drill in the middle of drilling a hole. So you're committed once you get started. So I make sure it's straight up and down. At this point, we can pull the trigger faster. We want a fast speed to drill through all these materials. So here we go. I can pull it out halfway if you're going through a lot of thick materials. The flutes on this bit will remove all that sawdust and all that debris and clear out the hole so we can continue with the rest of our. So I'm all the way through now. I'm going to keep the drill in a forward motion and then pull it out of the material. That's going to remove all the rest of my debris. And now I have a hole that's drilled all the way through, and it's a straight hole. I let the bit do the work. I'm not putting a lot of pressure on this drill. This tip will cut through if it's a good drill bit without a lot of that force from above. So keep in mind, let the drill bit do the work. Drilling a hole is half of what this tool will do. Let's look at the other half, driving and removing fasteners. First is the setup. We need to put a driver bit in this tool in place of this drill bit. So we're going to loosen the chuck. That removes this drill bit, and we can put any bit in that we want. And this bit slides into the jaws just like the drill bit did. and you'll tighten it until it engages. It's going to hold it in there, and then we'll go a click, a loud click, and then 3 small or light clicks. That locks that bit into the chuck. Now we're almost ready to go. The speed setting, especially if you're just learning this tool, should not be on fast. It should be set to 1 or low speed. This gives you more control of driving that fastener. Next, we need to set our clutch to drive whatever fastener we're using. Right now it's set on our drill bit setting. That means no clutch setting. I'll set it on a high setting like 13. If we set it on a low setting, it's going to release much quicker. So I'll set it at 15, and then I'll get a fastener here that matches the bit that I'm using. I've got a Torx bit in here, and this is a Torx screw, so these two match. It's important that your bit size and style matches your fastener exactly. And the way we'll know that is you should be able to put this fastener on that bit, and it should stay. There should not be a whole lot of slop in this. If it won't stay on there, I would wonder if I had the right size or style of bit. So we're good there. Now it's time to drive this fastener. Like with boring a hole, I need a specific location to put this fastener, and I'll put an X right there. I want to hit the center of that X, and we need the drill in forward for our setting here. The motor will spin clockwise, which will drive the screw deeper. Also, our axis is really important with driving fasteners as well. So what that means is having a straight line through my fastener all the way through my drill. So I'm drawing an imaginary line through my drill and through my fastener. If it's crooked, it will tend to strip or wander around in that fastener. You can either ruin the bit or the fastener or both. So I'll hold this fastener just long enough to get it started. Just like with drilling a hole, we want a slow speed, so a very slight pull of the trigger to get it started, to get this fastener to bite. And at that point, the tip has bit into the wood, and that screw will stand up on its own. So we can add some speed and control on this fastener and drive it in. My supporting hand it's not a bad place to put it on the back of this drill to add some pressure. Unlike drilling holes, we need to add some pressure. We want a good contact between our driver bit and our fastener all the time so we don't strip it out. So let's go ahead and drive this. It's really important, this idea of control over this trigger, especially when we're driving fasteners. As the deeper that fastener goes, the more force it takes from this drill. If your clutch setting isn't high enough, you'll start to hear your drill slip. So I'll set this clutch setting at a much lower setting, and we'll see if we can drill this fastener in any further. Listen to this sound. That is the slipping of this clutch. It's not allowing my chuck to turn. As we go to a higher setting, say 9, we'll try it again. It still won't turn it. So we have to go back to our original setting of 15, and it will drive that fastener deeper. So you can use this clutch setting to your advantage. Depending on the fasteners, the material you're using, and what you're trying to do with this drill, this can be a really important setting that will help you do this multiple times over and over again consistently. As you work with this tool more, you'll find that this is not the only position that you'll use this tool in. This might be the easiest one, but very rarely do you get easy when you're building. You might have to use it in this position. And in this position, you have to still consider your axis. Where is straight? What is off? What is askew? And it's in all directions. So you have to start seeing that in your mind, and then making sure that this line, that imaginary line, is always lined up with your fastener, and that you're always pushing that fastener in the right direction. So I've got a Torx screw about 1.5 inches. Let's put that in. So So I've got the screw started. I don't need my hand there anymore. I can hold the material, keeping my drill straight, and drive it in. Typically you want to screw flush, this type of screw, so I'll stop when that happens, when it's level with the material. Same process when we have to take screws out. The only difference is we're going to set our motor to reverse. We still have to consider the axis of this screw. We're somewhat guessing about it because the screw's buried. Look at the head of the screw. See, make sure that it's flat. And I'm trying to line up this drill in the right place. Obviously, we don't want to be this way. We want to have it as straight as possible. And I'm going to back that screw out. So when you remove this screw, make sure it's going to be hot because of the friction of all that material on that screw. This one's not bad, but they can get so hot you can't touch them. So when you're handling a lot of screws that you're removing, make sure you keep that in mind. Here's something I forgot to mention, and that is what to do with this hand while you're setting the screw. This screw has a smooth shoulder on it. I can spin this screw in my hand like this without any injury to myself, just long enough to get it started. So once it gets started, I don't need that hand in place. What you don't want is your fingers down here on the threads while that's turning. Those threads can be razor sharp, and when they're spinning, they will cut your hand. If you're the worker that likes to wear gloves with your power tools, those threads can actually grip your gloves and drag them around the screw. I've seen people break fingers that way. Earlier, we talked about the impact driver. It drives fasteners and removes them just a little differently. I'm going to put a Phillips bit in here for this one, and I've got a pretty long screw. This impact driver is great for driving longer screws. Watch what happens here. So I'll go ahead and set a point to drive this fastener, and I'm going to set that screw point right on there, and I'm going to get it started. Slight pull on the trigger. So it's going to get started like a regular drill. When it starts to find some resistance in that screw, listen to what happens. So that noise is actually an impact or a hammering action while it's turning. So it's, for every quarter turn, it's adding impact. That keeps this tip very tightly in that screw. That constant contact allows this drill to drive that fastener much easier than a regular drill would do. So you can see how this tool, if you have long or difficult fasteners, would make much easier work of that. If you notice, this tool is much louder than a typical cordless drill. It's not a bad idea, if you're using this all day, to have some hearing protection while you're doing it. Something to consider. Your ears are as important as your eyes, your lungs, and the rest of your body. The last thing to mention about this impact driver is they drive fasteners very easily but very quickly. So this idea of control over this trigger and not just pulling it full on all the time really comes into play, so that you're not overdriving these fasteners. I could literally push this fastener straight through this board with this particular tool. So there you have it. That's an introduction into some very important tools, probably one of your most important cordless power tools that you'll use on the job site. I wanted to say also, in this video, you've seen me stand these drills up a lot. That's for the video, that's for show. The reality is, on the job site, this is a terrible position for this drill to be on, especially when it's on materials, on a ladder, or in high places. They're heavy tools, and if they fall, it could cause a lot of injury to you or someone else. So make sure that you lay these tools down. They're much less likely to roll, fall away, or even better, use the belt clip for them to keep them near you at all times. So I hope that makes sense. I love this tool. The more you use it, the better you get at it. Remember control, remember all the steps, the setup, and the parts. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next lesson.